podcasting will be a thrill. Grandpa and chill, grandson and friends. Grandpa and chill in full effect. We talk about it all, yeah, put it all on the set with that pet craze too. We chillin' with Rosie, come through, stay tuned, yeah, listen closely. Cause this the millennials and the silent generation coming together, discussion in rotation. This is Grandpa and Chill.
Welcome to another beautiful episode of Grandpa and Chill.
Yeah, I know my segment question. So.
Lay it on me, Brandon. What do you got?
Well, one of the segments that we talked about for me is like talking about the old versus the young with you guys. So approaching stuff from the different generations. So I'm curious about finding yourself and, like hitting the road, all that stuff of the young perspective and the old perspective. Because Grandpa has clearly traveled a whole bunch. Am I right to say that, Grandpa?
Fair amount, yeah. I have. So have you.
Or you've done a lot of you've been to a lot of different jobs and places in your life.
Yeah. I have. I don't know why, but I have a problem with the volume. Your volume, Phines is okay now, but your volume.
What about now, Grandpa?
On the low side. That's great.
I'll just speak in the ear.
Yeah, that's better.
What do you?
But I'm wondering. I mean, Phines and Sierra must be able to hear you okay because they haven't complained about it. So maybe it's my equipment.
There's something about the Focusrite that does not want to like max out your volume, and I don't know what it is. I've read some things where like people have tried like restarting their computer with it plugged in, and but I'm not gonna do all that every time I want to use my microphone.
Yeah,
but it's
right.
something about Focusrite because like
my regular. I can hear you fine, Sierra, and I can hear Phines fine,
But you should be able to hear Brandon as well. And like sometimes that's difficult without like maxing out the volume on like the monitor like dial and doing like all kinds of extra things. It's a lot.
I'm trying
to
learn
that's
how
not
to
helping.
Read, but So who's the guest this evening?
Rosie.
It's 7:20.
What about Brandon? What about Brandon's question?
Could you say that one more time?
Have I traveled, or
what?
I don't remember what the question was.
Finding yourself. How's it been going? How do you do it?
Who are we talking to?
You.
To me?
Yep.
I love.
I don't know
this
if I'll ever find myself.
Show. I'm gonna open the window real quick.
Finding yourself.
Brandon didn't even freaking here to hear his answer. Yeah, his grandpa.
Know.
What the heck?
It's gone.
Yeah, Grandpa. What do you think about finding yourself?
I don't know what that means.
Ooh.
There we go. Now we're getting somewhere.
I mean, like, I don't have to look very far. Right here.
Well, Phines talking about traveling for finding himself, so maybe he can tell you what he was thinking about.
I didn't. No, not me. Sonny.
Oh, Sonny's finding himself.
But honestly, that was my words. He probably said the same thing, and he's like, "I'm right here."
Hey guys.
Do you think there's something that? Do you think there's a? Do you think there's a person to be found, Brandon?
Actually, from watching my grandpa interact, like not even on the podcast, but just like hanging out with grandpa, like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and stuff. Like he is very much himself, but I think it's also like he used to say things like, "Oh yeah, I'm I got to get better at blah blah blah." And, he's like 75, so I think it's like a never-ending journey.
Maybe I'm a little uptight. Maybe that's part of my problem.
You don't have a problem, Grandpa. You're perfect.
Yeah. I mean, well, I mean, I'm like too uptight about something.
Well, I guess I have another interesting question. Like, is there a difference between like adding new skills and finding yourself? Because like my thought is like Grandpa still can know himself, but still want to learn something new. But are they like I guess I kind of want to know what the definition of finding yourself would be. And I said it, so I guess maybe I should help. What is finding yourself?
What do you think,
Well,
Sierra?
maybe we keep ourselves hidden. Maybe we keep things hidden from ourselves, so that maybe we don't want to really fully know ourselves. We hide certain parts of who we are.
Hmm. So like self-acceptance, possibly.
What do you think the definition is, Sierra?
I think finding yourself is maybe just, I don't know, like the first thing that comes to my mind is like deciding what kind of person you want to be. But figuring out the kind of person you want to be doesn't necessarily translate to or equate to what you want to do or be. If that makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys feel like you are the person that you want to be?
No.
Phines.
No, I don't think so either.
Grandpa?
I guess I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, and hopefully I've become a better person. And I guess that may be part of what I'd like to do to find myself completely. Just to be a better person, have more understanding of people.
If you transformed into our age, like you went back to your 20s or 30, do you think that you would do it differently, or no? It's just like the trap of being young.
Well, if I had that choice, I might have not made a number of mistakes that I made. I think when you're young, at least for me, I took a lot of things for granted, people for granted. So didn't appreciate what I had. So I think that how'd you get me into all this stuff about me?
It was my homework for the week.
Mm-hmm. You tricked me into this.
Bro, is Rosie mic'd?
Yeah, Rosie's louder than both me and you, Grandpa.
Actually, no, she's sitting up on top of the monitor.
Oh my God! Yeah, no, it's never been like this before. Her squeak, her bird squeak sounds like a horror movie stabbing or something.
It sounds like you just like pinned a little mic to her wing, like.
No,
it's because birds are extremely intelligent.
Say hello.
She's figuring it out.
Yeah.
And every time you've told her to like say hi like 3 times today, and every time she just is like, and then as soon as you pull the mic away, she's like, ah.
Well, I gotta admit that you had me forget about what we were talking about. But anyhow, with Rosie, But go ahead.
Oh well, I don't know. You were talking. Yeah, Phines.
No, go ahead, please, Brent.
You were talking about the mistakes that you made, and if you could go back, you might do things differently. But when you were our age, why didn't you just do it the way that you wish you had the first time?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with the way you're brought up and what your values are. I
Damn right.
Has to do with your sense of what's important in life, whatever.
Preach.
Rosie's
Preach.
So loud.
Now, why is that beautiful? Funny.
Because you're saying like a very deep, eloquent thing, and Rosie's squawk is like so overpowering.
It's like a blowhorn.
Really? Okay, she's about 2 feet from the mic, and I'm about 7 inches.
Wait, but yeah, it's never. Wait, are you on the Focusrite? Is she like next to the computer mic? Is that what's going on?
She's like 2 feet from this mic, and I'm 8 inches from it.
Tap on your mic, Grandpa.
It's not on.
Not on?
Nope.
No.
Are you? No, you're putting me on.
I'm starting over, so now we have the right mics on. I could hear you so clearly still, even despite Rosie, I could still hear you so clearly, so I didn't even like bother you about the mic.
Grandpa's like, I gave you all that
That's really
gold.
funny.
Just now started.
No, I did.
What the?
Like I was telling you about shit.
All right, we're set
and
now.
We weren't recording. I just
continue.
No, I know you weren't. I know.
Well, I don't know if they're mistakes.
Grandpa, you were talking about all the mistakes you've made in life.
Doing what you're supposed to do. This is what your life is, and you have the illusion of free will. But but I imagine. But if you ask me, if I had the will, or if I had the ability to change my life, would I change it? Maybe not, because it might mean that I wouldn't have you as a grandson or whatever.
I was gonna ask you if you felt like you
like
things that you wish you could change, or anything that you wish you could change right now. Like if you could talk to, if you could start over right now, would you start over?
Well, no, I just thought it was interesting because he's like, well, if I could go back and I had the choice, like I would do things differently, and it's like, well, why didn't you do it right the first time? Was basically the question.
I'm asking you the same question.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I make mistakes constantly, but I don't know if, like, maybe it's a survival technique, but I feel like a lot of the stuff that is like, whether it's a mistake I made or not, the things that really like gnaw at me in my life, I always like put on the external. So I'm not like, oh man, like, why didn't I do this, or why didn't it's always like, why did this happen to me, which is maybe a weaker and not as healthy way of looking at stuff. But
don't be so hard on yourself.
What about you, Phines? If I pass the question on to you.
It's very similar. For survival reasons, I justify everything, so I'm always right and don't listen to anything that anybody ever says to me, because they don't know how to survive. No. What did I say? Oh yeah, regret. Oh yeah, just yeah. No, I mean, that was a joke, but there is some truth to it. There's a little bit like, I mean, I guess it's a coping thing to be like, yeah, and this is what it is. Like that happened, and it must have happened because I'm not gonna think too much about it. Keep on trucking, and hope that I make my life easier each day. Have more smiles and frowns. So, I wish I could go back. Yeah, honestly, yeah. Sometimes I should go back and like take care of my dogs better.
Are we torn between survival and conscience?
Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a good question. I mean, survival and conscience. I mean, suppose you need both of them to survive, or they wouldn't be. Either one of them wouldn't be here.
I mean, I feel like in this scenario, the conscience, stops me from doing even worse stuff or mistakes or whatever. But my survival mechanism clamps down on my conscience for all of the stuff in my past that's already happened.
And then it goes, it's someone else's fault, and then mine is like, they're all wrong.
Yes, like how dare all these people or all these situations do this to me, when like I was.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that dynamic that we
when
have.
I know we're very similar in that regard. But when I was like
It feels
there
healthy.
and I could have walked out of the room, or whatever. I mean, sometimes I couldn't, but like, like a relationship where I got treated really awfully, like I still stayed for however long that I stayed. But on the flip side, I also see, like, I see the reasons why. Like, I see my imperfections and the sort of like tendencies or whatever that I have. But we're living in the mistakes, Grandpa. We don't have our lifetime to look back.
You said we're living in the mistake?
Phines and I, not you.
Oh, why is that? I don't understand that.
Well, you've had a lot more life to grow and look back.
Boy, this is a deep subject.
All right, someone else do their homework.
A psychoanalytic session, or what?
All right, let's talk about Twitter.
I'll tell you an interesting thing that I had happen this week. I met a young fella about your age, Brandon, maybe a year or two older, and he was carrying a skateboard for a flight. He has a home in close to where I live, and he has another home in Denmark. And all he does modeling with skateboarding, and he apparently makes a pretty good living out of it. Is that interesting?
Like he skateboards?
Yeah, he travels around the world. He's going to Spain this week, and he goes all around the world doing modeling. And
like he rides on the skateboard and they film him doing it?
Apparently for commercials and stuff. Now, I don't think he's a super skateboard guy, but maybe he is.
Is he really, really good looking?
He was a good looking guy, yeah.
I hate people like that.
Yeah. Not as good looking as you are, but he was good looking.
It's hilarious.
We never asked Sierra though. I'm curious, Sierra, would you go back and change stuff or like all that,
Yeah, I would. I don't know what though. I mean, like I have like an overall vibe of like, wow, I don't know. I just feel like I have a lot of moments where I'm just like, kind of a waste of the last 7 months, but I don't know what I would do to change it. I don't always know what I do to change it. Like, I just feel like, wow, this was a waste. This whole year was a waste. And I just like wonder. So I mean, like I would, but I would just be like, okay, well, like let's think. Okay, last time I probably did nothing, so why don't we do something? I don't know. Maybe I'd just get out more, just spend more casual time outside, work on my social skill. I don't know. I wouldn't, because it's like the things that I should do, I just really don't want to do them, and I don't know. I don't know if a second time around will help that. Maybe I'd probably need a fourth try. I'm gonna be honest.
Now that you're saying that, would I want to get the same bill and rent again? And go, damn, I still gotta pay this. Again, this is awful.
I hope reincarnation is a thing. Like if I just could time travel or something or read, I wouldn't do it right. I know it still wouldn't go right the way it needs to go. I just want to start over completely, just do something totally different and be like, okay, well, there's no expectations here. It's just gonna be different. I don't know how there's a lot of things I'm just like, this was wrong, but I don't know how to do it right. I just know that it was wrong.
That Ren.
Well, you appear to be very happy with your teaching that you're doing now.
I do like it.
You just getting started. And how long is this for? Just till the end of the summer?
I don't know.
Or is it a more permanent type?
Apparently I'm just gonna be there until I'm not there.
Love that.
That's how it was explained to me.
All right.
So
I like that.
Job security constantly on the line.
Oh yeah, that's a good way to live.
Dressed to impress.
That goes back to what Phines was saying though, is like, do I really want to pay all this rent over and over again? And it's like, well, damn, what about all the future rent? That's just what all the next months are too.
But it's like if you could literally do it over, I would figure out how to get. If I could literally do it over, I would know now. Where am I not gonna pay 900? 3,200 for rent or whatever. You have.
How
If I
much?
had that insight,
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'd get to that point. That's what I'm saying. Like I would still.
I just went through the
Yeah,
exact same thing where I switched apartments, and like I for months I was like, oh my god, my rent is too high and I hate it, and this feels very paycheck to pay. This is very bullshit. And then I just did the housing hunt, the apartment hunt. And I was like, I can't find shit at all. Like I worked so hard to like find a good place, and now, like I'm paying either more without a roommate or a little bit less with a roommate. But
Yeah, after some reflection, yeah, no, I wouldn't do anything going back. I wouldn't go back again. I'm not doing this.
We're
That
too lazy to
simplifies
do it
things.
over.
It's like no.
Sierra, did I understand you to say that you were paying? Did I hear 3,200 a month?
Oh, that was just an example. No,
Pardon? Oh, okay.
no way. But everything is so expensive. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Times are, yeah,
they
they're trying
raised
times.
my rent in Atlanta by over 50%, and the average is like a 3
No.
to 9% increase. Yes, 50%.
They're raising
That's
rent. They're they're doubling rent. They're giving 50% increases on rent, and it's like, okay, well, what do I get? Do I at least get some happy stickers in the mail? Like, do I at least get a T-shirt? Like I just want sucker like on a T-shirt or something, anything.
Nope, it's still gonna take us a long time to fix your drain
Have
too.
you guys seen the show Severance? I just started watching it with Fiona.
No.
Yeah, I feel like this group would really be into Severance. It's a show where there's a procedure where people can decide to have their lives and like brains split so that when they're at work, like they black out, and then when 5 o'clock rolls around and they leave the property, they wake up again, and they only live the life where they don't have to do like a grinding work day. But then, that means that there's another you that never leaves work, that is only ever living in work.
Sucker.
Yeah.
So is it just like a bunch of is it everyone is just at different progress of serial killer, like
Yeah.
at different
It's like
stages
hell.
of serial
Hell,
killer?
basically.
Is it like sounds like Blade Runner, but for a series?
It's a series on Apple TV. Yeah.
I kept seeing that. I'm gonna have to watch it.
First
Yeah.
episode is free. It is incredible. But
How do I feel about that?
yeah.
Or what?
Well, I mean, you would feel great because every hour that you're wasting, like fucking grinding for money, like you wouldn't have to live it. Like you just turn off, and another you is conscious, and then you just get to live your life after 5.
I thought we had conscience and stuff. Wouldn't that make us feel bad?
Right. Well, that's what they explore in the show.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
But yeah. I don't know. I looked at Grandpa and I almost thought he was gonna say, "Okay, guys, well, I'm gonna."
He gave me an
It's
idea.
been
He
real.
always has a face. He's like,
You just gave me an idea.
"What?"
No, actually, I see that Brandon and Phines are not wearing headphones, and I was just wondering if I put this on speaker, wouldn't there be a feedback or something that would cause a problem, an echo, or?
I hear someone's echo, but I don't know whose it is. What we can do in Riverside is turn on echo cancellation, and that will help remove. I don't know how they do it, but it removes the echo for the most part. Everyone's
I guess what I'm asking, do I have to have headphones on? Can I just listen to my speakers?
You can have it. You can when we're not recording, you can turn on echo cancellation and change your speaker to just like your computer speakers.
But you said when we're not recording, but we're recording right now, aren't we?
Yeah, you can't change those settings while we're recording.
Oh, you can't change the settings while we're recording because Brandon and Phines did not have headphones on.
Yeah.
We're special. Siri gave us permission.
Our technology is accelerating every day.
Honestly, yeah. Remote podcasts in 2020 were way harder.
You said that as soon as this crazy lag came onto your screen.
Back in our day.
No, it's like, guys, the future is now.
That should be a Riverside commercial. It's like, at what point do you realize that you're not allowed to get anything good? Like,
literally.
All right, who else did their homework? I feel enough of that.
I've got my homework right here, baby.
All right, Sarah.
All right, let's see. This is my temper. Is it on?
Are you doing it with
it's
Grandpa?
On. Yeah. All right. First news.
Do you guys like Tony Braxton?
All right, yeah.
You're not getting out of this term. I don't know who that is.
So
I think she's from Indiana, right?
I didn't know that.
Let me check. You continue what you guys are doing. I just want to know where she's from. She's from Maryland.
Damn.
Maryland? Oh, really? I think she's a fabulous singer. Brandon, so when does your play actually begin? Stage performance.
Next Friday.
Not this Friday, the following Friday?
Yes.
So, can you give us like one line of it or anything?
Okay. That's one of the lines.
Fair enough.
That's it?
One of the lines. My favorite line. One of my favorite lines is "Say you'll come home with me." We will do normal things.
Can you get closer to the microphone so I can hear you?
Say you'll come home with me. We will do normal things until the pills wear off for you. We will go apartment hunting and shopping like normal people for a few days.
Not bad.
All right, now you got to talk about your Twitter
you
news
and a
story.
partner.
You got to talk about the Twitter
It's
news
about you
story,
and a partner.
You can't get out of this.
Apparently, the Batgirl movie has been canceled.
Like literally canceled, or because it's like not PC?
Literally canceled, as in the movie was developed, produced, filmed, edited, promotional materials were lying in the trenches waiting for release, and then Warner Brothers was like,
this is ass.
no. And they haven't said that. They even went out and said, because the actress, the star, is supposed to be, I didn't know who she was, but she was in, she was like one of the stars of like In the Heights, that like musical movie. And they were like, no, girl, listen, like this has nothing to do with you. We just don't want the movie. And everyone is like, what does that mean though, babes? Because the movie, I mean, it's done. It's finished. It was supposed to come out this year. And they were just like, no, just don't do that. No, it's not happening anymore. No more.
So what's the like elephant in the room? Is there something there like, obviously?
I really don't know. That's what's like super, and now everyone else is confused. They're like, well, what other things that we enjoy and or look forward to are just randomly going to be canceled after they've literally already been made, like when everything is done? And everyone is confused. They're like, okay, well, why are we canceling this movie that had no problematic people, but, Living Chupacabra, Ezra Miller's Flash is still, and they're still planning to release it somehow. It doesn't make any sense.
Probably has to do with money.
I'm so confused. And then they threw, you know what? Let me try to find it again because I need to find like an actual article. Because, you know, I think they tried to say something about like, oh, no, that's not it. They tried to say something about like, you know, this isn't really, we don't really want any like streaming movies, like streaming, like movies that we plan to release solely to stream isn't, you know, that's not a practical move for us. Is this the source? No, this is Instagram. I need to find an article. Just show me an article. Why are you doing this to me? Thank you. All right. This says they're not going to release it. It's a $90 million project that's basically just dead. It reflects the leadership strategic shift. They said this is not a reflection of the actor's performance. I'm so confused. No, yeah, it's just really crazy.
Expensive movie too.
I wonder if they're gonna like.
Put it on the shelf.
I wonder if this is all like a ploy to make the sales go up later.
Maybe. I don't know. It's so confusing because Warner Brothers has had so many like poor decisions in the last few years, and it's like
and horrible.
Like you're right.
Too.
It could be a horrible movies, and then just like all of this all kinds of behind the scenes drama. Like how many flops in the last like 5 or 10 years? Like the first Suicide Squad movie, Justice League, Aquaman, TBH, the Harley Quinn movie was a total letdown. You know, oh my God, the Wonder Woman sequel, embarrassing, atrocious. I screamed, I cried, and I screamed more. Oh, well, bye. Okay. You know, all these bad decisions, and then you have, you know, all this Amber Heard drama in between that. Again, I can't stress this enough. Living Chupacabra, Ezra Miller, still in the wind. They claim to not be able to find that person. And what else? They've had a lot of good projects on. Why isn't your device recording anymore? It says lower your resolution settings. We're just bragging about you, Riverside, and then you just throw it in our face like a landlord raising the rent. Anyway, I'm just gonna keep talking. They made all these movies, you know, they made all these weird decisions when, what was it? When DC Universe first came out, you know, we had all these cool projects, you know, you had Swamp Thing and a few other ones, and then Swamp Thing got canceled and no one knew why that happened. It was like a very successful show. It looked great, but they canceled that after one season. It just always seems confusing and hectic at Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I wonder when they're gonna lose reins.
Like it could be like a publicity grab, like you're saying, but like that wouldn't convey like publicity to me. It would just, to me, feels like another just crazy ass hectic thing they've created. I don't understand. Yeah, super weird. And I didn't even realize it was coming out this year. Well, I guess because they didn't plan on releasing it, so they didn't do any marketing. I don't know. Very strange. But yeah, the way they haven't canceled or reshot The Flash, but they canceled this movie for like no reason is astounding.
Do we have like an idea like who's all a part of like the team that made it? Like, is it like just full of like diverse group, or is it just, I don't know.
Apparently it's the dudes that made Bad Boys for Life. And and they directed the first 2 episodes of Miss Marvel, which I also haven't seen yet. I actually am going to have to watch that, you know, so I can connect with the youth. Maybe I'll do that this weekend. Bro, Michael Keaton was going to be in this. Damn shame.
Yeah, it seems like
damn shame. I don't know. I really don't know. I would be curious I will be waiting to hear more information because it seems very strange to me. Seems very strange. In other more hilarious news, pretty hilarious. Half and half hilarious. Mostly hilarious. Yeah. Okay, so as we know, Alex Jones is getting his anus suit off. All right. So, Alex Jones is getting his anus suit off for, lying about children getting murdered. And because of his random decision to lie about children getting murdered, the parents were harassed and stalked and threatened. And because of that, they have a class action lawsuit against him. He has tried to hide all of his money, the hundreds of thousands of dollars of money that he's made from lying about children getting murdered. He's tried to hide that by divorcing his wife and letting his ugly wife take his assets. He's tried to claim bankruptcy. He's tried to have his company file for bankruptcy. I think that was the newest attempt this week or last week to try that part. He has tried, what else? He's tried saying that because he's being sued, the existence of the lawsuit is some kind of slander, basically, and that slander has caused people to, advertisers to drop out and people to stop donating. That's a classic, crazy, crackish conservative plot, when people say you're doing crazy shit, and then, you can go, oh, well, they're saying I'm being crazy, and when don't believe them, then I'm crazy, okay? Just send me more money, okay? They're trying to stifle us. They're trying to stifle us by saying that I'm crazy, and the frogs are turning kids gay, and, so then they try to, act like it's gaslighting, basically,
Oh,
I'm not crazy. You're lying and saying, you can't say it. I'm not being crazy. They're saying we're crazy. That's ridiculous. They're trying to say that we're crazy so that you guys stop giving money. So why don't you give me an extra $30 on top of what you were already going to give me just to prove them wrong? Okay. Mm-hmm. So he's tried all of that. It hasn't worked. He's still getting sued. I think he tried to say he was too sick to come to court at one point, and then the lawyers were like, girl, I don't know how to tell you this, but he's actually live streaming right now. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. No, I think that was him too. Something like that. He was doing a show where he was recording. He was acting like he was stuck in his house. And then the judge was like, sweetheart, how are you able to do, you're well enough to do this. It's like when you were sick as a child and you just were like, oh, it's not working. No, girl, my stomach, it's not happening. And your mom was like, oh, that's so fun. You're too sick to go to school, but you're not sick enough to jump around on the couch and play Nintendo. That's fun. That's cool. And then the judge was like, bitch, put your shoes on and put your pants on and put your shoes on. We're getting in the car. We're leaving. Don't play games with me. So now he's finally in court, and he's had to admit that the actual massacre in which several children were murdered actually happened. He's finally had to admit that. He admitted that it was irresponsible of him to declare that this school shooting was a hoax. He was on the witness stand. He's been on the witness stand the last few days, giving testimony or trying his best not to. When he was asked by his lawyer if it was irresponsible to broadcast to his audience that the shooting never happened, he said it was. Especially since I've met the parents. It's 100% real. So let me see here. So that happened this week. What day was that? Maybe today, maybe yesterday. So he's admitted now that it actually happened, that all those children were murdered. And, he said, you know what, maybe that wasn't a good idea. The other fun part of today was that apparently his expert attorneys accidentally sent the fullest, most in-depth, detailed copy of his phone records to the prosecution. Funny. Or not the prosecution, whatever, the suing, the plaintiff.
By mistake.
Attorneys. On accident, yes.
Yeah, unbelievable.
On accident. Whoops. And so now there's a fun clip going around of the opposing attorney talking to Alex Jones and saying, "Hey girl," and I think he read a text, and Alex was like shook, and his face is like red as Brandon's shirt right now. And he was like, what? And he's like, "Oh, you didn't think I had this text message, did you, babes?" And Alex is like, you told me. Well, okay, so you do have my text messages. Before you were acting like you didn't have my text messages. And he's like, "You didn't know I had these, did you, sweetheart?" And he's like, wow. I mean, I didn't know I didn't know anybody had them, but I mean, I'm happy for you that you found something that you were looking for. I'm happy for you. You know, you're reaching your goals. And so they have all these records of him acknowledging that it happened, acknowledging that he's talking about it with people, discussing it. I'm sure we're going to see fun little glimpses of all those records because he's already said under oath that he doesn't have any correspondence pertaining to this massacre. He doesn't have any information on it. Doesn't know what you're talking about. Why would I be texting people about a massacre that didn't happen? I don't know. I don't know what excuse he's using, but he's been saying that. And so now they have basically clear evidence of him perjuring himself. Because he said straight out, you know, I don't have any messages like that. I don't have any emails. I don't have any texts. I don't have nothing like that, girl. I don't talk about school shootings with people. That'd be weird. I don't know what's going to happen to his lawyers either, because, I mean, the lawyers accidentally sent it. So that means they also had it. I don't know.
That is so weird.
It makes them, aren't they in trouble too for that? Isn't that like against the law or something?
I would think so. I would think if they had ever had that prior to the moment they sent it, that they would, you know, that they should have shared it. Like, you're supposed to share your evidence. So I don't know how that worked out either.
Could that cause a mistrial?
I don't think it causes a mistrial. I think because I really don't know. I don't think it would cause a mistrial because the opposing attorney, you know, told Alex Jones, like, you know, I have this. Your attorneys accidentally sent it to me because they're dipshits like you. And when I called them to like contest or to like see, you know, did you mean to send this to me? Like, what's going on? Is any of this like privileged or anything? Can I use this? And they were like, oh yeah, I mean, whoops, you got me. Like, yeah, you can use it. So he's there using it in court. So,
Alex Jones did do the podcaster, right?
Yeah, InfoWars.
Did he have anything to do with the shooting? Oh, he's just spreading fake news? Is what he got in trouble for?
He went after it happened for some reason. Like, again, I really don't know what would possess you to do this, but he went around and all over his show telling people that it didn't happen. Like, literally that it didn't happen. Like, a 20-year-old man went into an elementary school and started shooting children and murdering children with like a rifle. And then Alex Jones, for some reason, decided to go on his own show with his own face and scream into the microphone about how it didn't happen. That was literally like a hoax. I don't know who put it on. Maybe it was a government hoax. I don't know what the hell he was talking about, but he was saying how like the children didn't really die. Those were actors. There were actors on the scene. The parents are actors. They're getting paid to lie and cry on national television about how their, 5-year-olds are dead. Like, I don't know. I don't know why. I for the life of me, I do not understand.
There's a lot of crazy people out there.
Why you would tell a lie like that? Like, it'd be one thing if you were like completely mentally ill and that was something you believed, but he's a grown, allegedly stable man. Like, he's just a prick. Like, I don't know. He was literally just lying about it for money. This was just a reason, I guess, for conspiracy theorists to like dump money into, like a person to dump money onto, because he's saying something that's just crazy enough that only I could believe it. I
How
really
good of
don't.
an actor could you be that on first take they can be like, all right, your 5th grader's dead, go.
Literally, these people, these poor parents have deceased children, They got doxxed. People came to their house. They called them on their personal phone numbers and threatened them. Could you imagine? Can you imagine if someone you love more than anything is gone and then you get a phone call or a voicemail and it's like, you lying fuck. Stop doing that. There are real dead kids out there. How dare you? Why would you put that on someone? The only thing I'm mad about is that there isn't some kind of criminal charge that he could find for this, because it just baffles me.
I guess they can get around it by saying it's entertainment.
Well, they're gonna bust the brakes off of him in the damages for this. They're suing him for millions of dollars. He keeps trying to hide it and do all this shady shit with all the money. They're gonna find that money and then go rip it out of your ass. Try it. I can't wait. It's gonna be. I might have to start watching pieces of the trial because I can't wait. You thought this Amber Heard Johnny Depp shit was funny. This is good shit. I can't wait. I can't wait for him to lose all his money. Just outrageous. What?
There's another
his
lunatic
wife did
out
leave
there.
him.
You know who the My Pillow guy is?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, well, he just came out and said that he's been on crack for 4 years.
No, he did not.
Yep. Yes, he did.
Everybody's like,
no, he didn't.
Maybe it wasn't.
Okay, so where's your other Sham Wow thing?
Wait a minute. Wait, no, he didn't. What?
Yep.
Well, that was obvious, but
It's
wait, what?
Lunatic. Yeah, absolute lunatic.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
No, I'm serious. Yeah. At least I read that.
Where did you read this? Oh, I see it. This was old.
Oh, it is old?
I see an article from 2017. It says,
oh, okay.
Wait,
maybe
what?
I didn't realize
2017. Wait a minute. It says, okay, this is CNBC. It says how this entrepreneur went from a crack addict to a self-made multimillionaire.
Hell yeah.
What?
I thought I saw.
See, that's a man that got a chance to live life twice. And was like, I'm gonna do it on crack.
No, this is white privilege incarnate right here.
That too.
This man went from poor old crack addict to multimillionaire to just regular crack pot to just complete.
I bet crack is a really hard drug to get off of.
I know it is, yeah, but he picked up one.
Which way? I mean, wouldn't it be like a good way to celebrate making it?
No,
like, hey, I got off of the drug. I made $1 million. I'm rich now. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess. I'm sorry. Poor guy.
I mean, if it was anybody but Mike Lindell, I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna let you have that one, Chief. But he's out of his mind. He's taking whatever Rudy's taking.
Rudy Huxtable?
Giuliani.
This guy, by the way, you're a great actress, Sierra. I think you could make it as a comedian or an actress. But getting back to the guy you were talking about who, made these false claims on his show, apparently he's in court right now or having a trial. Yeah. Is that correct? And what is the trial actually for?
Let me go back to Twitter so I can find
because
exactly.
Of hiding of assets or income, or is it?
I believe this is a class action suit from the parents that he has slandered. Let me go back to my article. Okay.
So it would be a civil case, not a criminal case.
Yes, it is civil. It's a post-default judgment trial. Oh, okay. It's a post-default judgment trial that will determine how much he must pay for spreading falsehoods that the massacre didn't happen. Okay, so he's already lost. He's already lost this suit.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good.
I didn't follow it too much when it was I remember hearing about it. I didn't follow it too much when it was happening because I was just like, I mean, he's gonna lose. He lied. Is
that up to the judge?
I don't know if it's
between the parties or something.
No, it's a jury. It's a jury proceeding. It's a jury proceeding. Yeah. I'll put this article in our show notes because it's very interesting. It was very interesting. The judge, and I've seen that the judge even had to tell him, had to reprimand him because he was at risk of violating his oath yesterday, because he said that he was bankrupt, and he also said that he complied with discovery, which he didn't. He's literally fought this suit at every single turn. Like I told you guys about hiding all his money and trying to hide evidence. Now it's very clear as of today that he hid so much evidence because he was just lying to everyone's face about, texting and emailing and talking to people about, these lies that he was telling. So I cannot wait to see what happens as a result of that. But yeah, just a demon of a person. 20 children got murdered. 6 employees at that school were murdered. 20 kids. That's a whole class.
But,
and you just gonna say?
It seems to me that there's people in the media making false claims every day like this. There's issues like this going on all the time. And I'm wondering why this particular one, and I understand,
Alex Jones,
the relevance of it, but why this particular one came to trial, because there's people, people are claiming that Trump won the election. I mean, whatever, there's all kinds of false information going on out there.
I think it's this one probably because it's such a big audience that Alex Jones has, and there was lives lost. I'm not saying that the Donald Trump thing is different. Well, there wasn't as many lives lost, right, for the Donald Trump doing it?
I feel like this was so isolated because not many public figures would say something as deranged and demented as this, that 20 children didn't really get murdered and it was all it's a ploy, it was literally a hoax. This was a staged event, like a flash mob, like a flash dance mob at the mall. It's just fake, It's just staged, those TikTok videos or those stupid little short videos where someone goes up to a call where a man tries to go talk to a woman and she doesn't really want to, she blows you off, and then she turns around and sees you get into your Lamborghini and suddenly she wants to talk to you. Those are staged videos. 20 children and 6 staff members getting murdered at a school is not a staged event. And he said this about all of these children, he invalidated all of these children's murders. And I really don't understand. I just don't understand why you would choose this hill to die on. He made so much money off of it somehow, which is even weirder and sicker. He continued to do it because he was making money. He wouldn't stop. They begged him to stop. Everyone begged him to stop doing this and stop talking about it, and he just wouldn't. He continued so much that these parents' lives were at risk. People literally were coming to their house and banging on their door and telling them and demanding that they stop lying about their dead kids. And I remember when Sandy Hook happened, and that was really the moment where we thought everyone was going to be like, wow, we have really let this school shooting shit get out of control. We have to do something. This is insane. We've let it go too far. It's like that battle in the Civil War when a whole bunch of was it the Civil War? I feel like there's a moment in the Civil War and a moment in the Crusades. There's a children's crusade where like somehow a bunch of kids thought that they were going to go and, do the good word. They all got murdered. But, this was the moment where you would think like, wow, okay, we've got to fix it. We just have to. And of course, no one did because our government is garbage. But this was supposed to be the moment, because then only a few years later was the Parkland shooting, when again a whole bunch of children got murdered for no reason except because none of the law enforcement that you would trust to help bothered to intervene. But no, everybody really thought this was going to be the moment. Like, okay, but it wasn't. And it just ended up being another terribly sad thing that happens here that we just have to deal with. And it'd be one thing if you just had to deal with it. Like, we have to deal with Uvalde right now. And we just have to accept that happened. And that, everyone involved in that is fucking terrible. And we just have to accept that happened. But no one is saying about Uvalde. It'd be one thing if, everyone is blaming the cops. Like, everyone knows that they fucked up and they're terrible and they suck and I can't wait for them to go to prison. But, no one is coming around here saying, okay, well, that didn't even happen. Okay, the cops were there. Okay, the south wall of the school is literally riddled with bullets because, they all tried so hard to, kill the gunman. Okay, anybody who tells you any different is a damn liar. They're all lying to you. I can't imagine. I don't know.
Well, the amendment that supposedly gives people the right to carry firearms. Well, which amendment was that? I forget the second amendment. It says a militia, and to me, if they wanted individuals to be able to carry firearms, it would have said individuals or persons, not militia. Militia is like the National Guard of a state. So I think, and also if they wanted to control firearms, they could require people to take a firearm out of their home to carry liability insurance. And the insurance companies would make sure that the wrong people. Now, it wouldn't all work right away. It would take a long time before it worked. They got it figured out. But, you don't really hear too much about people being killed by machine guns or by hand grenades because they're outlawed for civilians to own, and so you don't really hear about it. You heard about it back when back in the Prohibition days they had machine guns, but you don't hear about them anymore. So although these semi-automatic weapons are basically turned into machine guns, but there's solutions, but like you said, nobody wants to. The government, especially the Republicans, they don't want to change the law. That's the problem.
They get too much money to just sit there and do nothing, quite frankly.
Yeah, so the NRA is paying them off.
And I forgot, I don't know which one gets the most money.
Well, but again,
I want to say it's Ted Cruz, but I'm not sure. My heart says Theodore, or whatever his real name is. How old is this? This says Mitt Romney. Tweet them. This web. I want to share this. This website lets you tweet them.
Did we get any feedback for our live show the other day?
From our one patron? No.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't.
Well, I know you watching, patron.
But it worked.
What you think?
It worked. I did like it. I could do that like once a month. One monthly live stream of the show. We'll just post the rest. Mitchell.
This is incredible.
Is funny.
They wouldn't actually see this though, right? It would.
It tags them. It goes. Yeah, I tagged them. There's a Holly. Oh, is that him? That's him. What does this say? Gun deaths in their state. Oh, gun deaths per state? Where are these Texas bitches? There's Ted, 3,600. That's a low price, Ted. Raise your price or actually do your job. That's pathetic.
Wow.
Lindsay, that's all you get? That's embarrassing. Those are fake. These aren't real. These are just the official numbers. These are just the official numbers. This is embarrassing. Raise your rates, people. Richard Burr, not surprised. Marco, see this is what I'm talking about. Ted, take notes from Marco. Marco doesn't care about anybody's kids, okay? And he's making 7 figures. That's how it's done, dummy. Pay top dollar to exploit people everywhere they go. Mitch knows what to do. 700 in Kentucky, only 1.2 million. Rookie numbers. Wait, what's the asterisk mean? Some of these have asterisks. Is that we know they're getting paid more, but we haven't tracked it down yet? Oh, these are updated 2020 funds. Okay. So yeah, lots of fun stuff. Lots of fun. Always to be had.
Well, guys, I'm going to say goodnight.
Perfect.
Yep.
What's your,
End on a
what's
high
your
note.
last thought?
My last thought?
Yes.
Were you talking to me, or who are you talking to?
You, Grandpa.
Oh, to me. It's how do I get the computer turned off?
How do I leave?
And how do I work the controls to get the computer turned off? It's a little complicated.
Start banging on the computer screen. Just start banging on it.
Correct.
Just say computer off.
I am very proud to work with you guys. You're really, really smart people.
We love it. The
Good
gang.
night.
I love working with you and your lighting today, Grandpa.
My lighting.
You always end like the Mona Lisa or something.
Have a
Or
good
scream.
good week, guys. Good night.
Yeah.
Bye.
Podcasting with Grandpa Bart and Rosie, always on his shoulder. This is Grandpa and Chill.
Grandpa and Chill is brought to you by your hosts, Brandon Fox, Bart Frank, and Phines Jackson. Our producer is Sierra Doss. To watch and listen to full episodes of the show and follow us on social media, visit grandpaandchill.com. That's grandpaandchill.com.